traditionally depicted as a nude woman. That is literally just
Well, there we go. Thematically, it makes sense for her to be this way.
another excuse to make a woman with large breasts.
See, now you're really emphasizing Matt even more. Jesus Christ. Yesterday, I made a video talking about the aftermath of a certain critique video that a creator known as Candybug has made, critiquing Genshin Impact, and that the Genshin community did not take kindly to what she had to say. And for me, considering the type of criticism, it lets me know that it's from a vocal minority that is a little bit odd in the head, and certain ideologies that they have and that they're trying to push are basically becoming, no one necessarily cares as much anymore. Maybe the disabled part. Now that's sure where I'm there 100%. But besides that, I feel like the rest of them, it just doesn't make much sense as to what they were trying to frame her as, like a racist or something like that. That didn't necessarily click for me. And so whilst sure you can have a problem with someone that may not seem knowledgeable enough in their critique towards your video game, the reality is the behavior exhibited in response to that should never warrant that extreme of a response, especially a very negative and extreme response in some of the death threats, etc., thrown at the creator in question. At the end of the day, we are talking about a video game that sells anime girls. Stop this loser shit and lock in. We'd appreciate if you would. Now, this is something I never usually do, because typically I like to cover everything that's going on. There's a prequel, right? I didn't watch the prequel. All right, you know what I'm saying? It's like me with The Witcher 3. I played The Witcher 3, but I've never played The Witcher 1 and 2. So, but you can get enough information from The Witcher 3 to not necessarily need to play those games. So, I haven't watched the prequel. I think we owe it to the Genshin community to watch the prequel and go from there. So, without further ado, this is an hour long. Not gonna waffle as much. I'm gonna try to weigh in as much as I can, because I have stopped playing Genshin since Fontaine. If there are some things that I can weigh in on, I will. If not, it's some new stuff. I can take what she's saying and we'll go from there. All right, without further ado, let's get in on it. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to not miss any updates.
I guess I better go subscribe to VXV Gotcha.
Again, please be aware that this video contains very heavy spoilers for Genshin Impact up to version 6.4, also known as Luna 5, the current game version as of recording.
Okay.
So if you clicked on this video and haven't played up through these quests yet, and you are still interested in doing so, please watch this at your own risk. Also, I would like to say that while I play Genshin frequently, I'm certainly not a lore expert. It's also worth pointing out that Genshin lore only gets more confusing and convoluted as time goes on, so that might factor in as well. I might get stuff wrong. You can feel free to correct me about anything in the comments, but I will do my best.
Fair enough.
Let me just start by saying that Genshin
So basically, right off the bat, considering how she presented herself and how some people, because I think the first comment was, I'm not a lore expert. Yeah, baby, we can see that. That tells me it's Hoyoshills. Like we have a true rampage infestation of Hoyoshills in this part of the community. That's for sure.
Impact is one of my favorite games. I know that there's a lot to be said about Genshin and that Genshin fans are kind of a meme. There's a lot of valid critiques to be thrown Genshin's way. For example, like many gacha games, they use a very predatory business model, and Hoyoverse makes millions of dollars off of FOMO and by fostering people's gambling addictions. And I would argue Genshin is actually worse than a lot of other Hoyo games too, because it's not as generous. From my understanding,
right off the bat, that's just true. You can't get mad at that. That's just true.
Other games from this company have made up for a lot of Genshin's greed by giving away more free characters and by making it easier to obtain materials to level them up. Meanwhile, Genshin refuses.
You're kidding me. No way.
And by making it easier to obtain
3 talent materials from each region, each available 2 days. That's still a thing. That is still a thing. Oh my God. Jesus. Okay.
Materials to level them up. Meanwhile,
bad.
Genshin refuses to adapt even after over 5 years of updates. The resin cap is still only at 200 with no resin overflow system, and the weapon and talent ascension materials are still only available for a few days.
This one, like locking them for specific days of the week is the most insane. You have to look at leaks. It's so bad.
Each week, which is an outdated system that serves absolutely no purpose. But despite all of those flaws,
the only purpose it gives is that it creates artificial value to those materials in question. So that if they give them to you in events or something, you're like, thank you. It's that.
Genshin kind of stole my heart in the beginning.
Oh, it did for a lot of us. Me too. Me too, girl. Me too.
I had never played a game like this before, meaning a gacha game. I didn't know how the pity system worked. I did a 10 pull.
I used my Primo Gems on the standard banner because it had Diluc in it. Now I wanted Diluc. I got Diluc, luckily, but I seriously thought like that's how you're supposed to play the game. I was rewarded for it. I got Diluc. I was happy. And that was actually the smart thing to do, it turns out, because Diluc was supposed to be the best character, the best DPS at the start of the game. Everybody wanted him. And so, that worked out for the best. I think you were supposed to use your Primo Gems on the standard banner around those days. So, yeah, that lucky accident, I guess. But looking back at it now, considering what I know, maybe that wasn't the wisest thing to do.
Whenever I had fates, and I didn't save them at all because I wasn't keeping up with any upcoming banners or anything.
Who cares?
And I would spend my Primo Gems equally on both Intertwined and Acquaint Fates because that seemed like the financially
Based. Me too.
responsible thing to do. I
didn't even pull for the limited banner, if I remember. I came around the end of Venti. I thought he looked not my type. And he's cool and all, but I didn't know anything about meta, etc. Who cares? I thought like you didn't need to have a meta because I came from The Witcher 3. It's not a live service game, etc. So I was like, it's just a video game. And so I was like, whoa, I'll be fine. I'll pull for what I like or something. Like, and plus I was given so much Primo Gems. I'm like, obviously I can just keep farming these forever, right? I didn't know. It was the gacha and stuff. I didn't know
about it even now. But when I first started back in October of 2020 during Klee's first ever banner.
Yeah, this was when I started too. This was the start of my journey for 100% because I came at Venti probably like 2-3 days left on him. And Klee was the girl in the face of the banner.
None of that mattered because Genshin was pretty magical early on. Not only was it special because back then you really didn't have to worry about power creep. You could pretty much build any character you wanted if you liked them.
True. You can get away with this team and you could do Abyss too. You just need to know a little bit of your stuff and you can do Abyss with whatever you want. It's super new player friendly.
But there was this feeling of newness that came with starting out in 1.0. This open world was laid out before you with
and we didn't have anything like it at the time, and we didn't have anything like it at the time. So I feel like a lot of us just the music, the characters, it just felt so clean. It was so good.
2 beautifully designed nations. The music was, and still is, so gorgeous and immersive. Playing with headphones.
Great minds think alike. I did not pre-watch. This is a whole hour. I'm not going to pre-watch that shit. Man, I don't like to pre-watch anyway. It's like, man, I don't pre-watch anyway. So, man, freaking just base. I don't know why they're hating. Maybe she's a little too base for some of them Hoyoshills. Maybe that's why they're hating on her. But then again, we're just 2 minutes in, so hold on to our seats.
And just listening to the soundtrack while running around with your favorite characters.
Oh my god, my favorite is Inazuma at night. Oh, that's just a vibe.
There were little puzzles to solve and stories to tell, all backdropped by a beautiful landscape. The story told by the Archon quests was relatively simple, but the characters were interesting and so lovable that they gave the quests life in their own way. And then there were events like the first Lantern Rite and the first Wind Bloom. Don't get me wrong, I think there have been some really good Lantern Rites in recent years. The one featuring Gaming comes to mind, but I really don't think that
I think that was the last one I participated in.
Joy that came with these events early on will ever be matched in the future. And plus, I think that Genshin has kind of forgotten about Wind Bloom. But like, the cutscenes were so beautiful, getting to see what all of these characters in Liyue and Mondstadt were up to during these times of year. I mean, that cutscene of all the characters walking around Mondstadt together spawned so much shipping, and I love
how Diluc can be a total dick to Kaya. That was one of my favorite interactions.
Absolutely there for it, just like everybody else was. Following this, we had Inazuma, Sumeru, and Fontaine. Again, all beautiful nations with so much potential for exploration.
For sure.
They encourage you to look in every nook and cranny. There's so much lore to be found that you might never see it all unless you peruse the Genshin wiki. One of my favorite examples of all of the records and notes you can find are about Ildodore, and they're scattered throughout Sumeru. Just discovering how
I did not know that
he was made me so excited to see what they would do with a villain like that in this story. And we will get to that. But even if the story occasionally got dull, and I know a lot of people struggled with Inazuma, believe me, I have problems with it too, I know I could always count on seeing a character I liked. When Inazuma was boring me to death in the middle, or when it was busy underdeveloping Raiden A, I could at least maybe see Kazuha sometimes, who is still one of my favorite characters in the game too.
Kazuha is by far our boy. That's our ninja right there. Oh, Kazuha's our boy. Oh yeah, I know all of us were sick when we skipped him because we were told, oh, he's just a little better than Sucrose. A little better? I hated Genshin guide makers since then. Oh man, like it took me I had to back up from them before taking their advice again. I had to really take a pause on that. Yeah.
To this day.
Because I felt betrayed, man.
Relies on its characters like almost no
How
other
wrong they were.
does. If you want people to pull for them, they have to appeal. And most of them did. They had beautiful designs and interesting personalities that sealed the deal. So
sure
yes, Genshin is one of my favorite games. But I'm also its biggest hater. And I know what you're going to say. You're just nostalgic. That's the only reason you think it was better back then. But I have proof. I mean, why else would I make a whole video essay on an unestablished YouTube channel if I...
To be honest, I do feel like nostalgia plays a huge part on why I can also reminisce fondly about Genshin. But I feel like I can reminisce that fondly because I had a good time. I had a good time with Genshin. I was a huge fan of Genshin. Maybe not a huge fan. I was a fan of Genshin Impact. I used to wake up every single day excited to continue my Genshin journey. I was okay doing dailies. I was like, okay, great. I get to log into Genshin, maybe walk around for a bit, look for chests, etc. It was a good time. It was a good time, man. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend otherwise.
I didn't have proof. So, was Genshin always this way on an unestablished YouTube channel if I didn't have proof? So, was Genshin always this weird and bad? No, it wasn't. And let me tell you why. So, when we talk about bad Genshin, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, Natlan.
Yes, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Fuck you mean in Septimont we have the Land of War. Fuck you mean we have the Land of War in Septimont, but the Land of War that is supposed to be the Land of War, which is Natlan, is this happy. It's like, okay, I mean, look, we get it's supposed to be for children, but it's like at this point, I mean, where's the respect for us adults? I mean, shit. I mean, can't we have one region? Damn.
In case you're unfamiliar, Genshin bases its nations on real-world cultures in terms of visual inspiration, the names of the characters, and the nation's customs. Mondstadt is based largely on Germany, Liyue on China, Inazuma on Japan, and so on. Natlan, similarly to Sumeru, is based on multiple real-world cultures, including Mesoamerican societies, Polynesian cultures, and the cultures of African peoples. It's hard to pin down what they were thinking when they picked out all of these places, each so different to represent just one nation in the game. I'm certainly not the person to listen to on if this is bad representation, but I will say I do find it odd that the regions based on parts of the world where historically many black and brown people have lived are a mishmash of many different cultures, and that the characters are whitewashed versions of these people. It just gives me pause, to say the least. For many other reasons.
What's the problem with the who cares? It's a mix. They're mixed. It's fine. I come from a country that's supposed to be more on the brown side, but we're mismatched. There's white, there's brown, there's black, a bunch of us, it's fine. It shows also the impact of culture, other cultures. It's like, are we going to pretend like there wasn't attempts at conquering places, war atrocities that gives birth to mixed children? I mean, come on now. It's obviously why they're there. It's kind of how IRL works, really. I mean, are we just going to pretend like no white people came there, no black people came to this place, etc.? Like, come on. Like, it's as long as it's done properly, I don't mind it at all. Like, it's fine. Because also they're taking full advantage of that due to the beauty standard Asia has, which is the paler you are, the hotter you are. And so they kind of have to. I mean, I get them. And plus they're from China and they're basing their beauty standard off that Asian standard. So, it's fine. It's fine. Like, I'm not going to force them into a strong degree of realism. As long as the realism in terms of the NPCs and the world I'm looking at is realistic enough, I'm fine.
Understandably poorly received by fans, at least in the United States. I'm not really sure how other parts of the world reacted to it. It's easy to see why, though, because it's the same reasons that I didn't like Natlan. The landscapes are fine, but aesthetically, a lot of Natlan doesn't mesh well with existing aesthetics of the game. And one of the major problems people had was the characters' access to modern technology and concepts like motorcycles, flying guns, rollerblades, and DJ sets.
Yeah, it should have been in Fontaine. Like, I don't know, because like we had what was that meme? Mécanique Cardinal or something like that. The judge thingy. That's mechanic, you know what I mean? And we had like boats, stuff like that. So it feel like technology should have been in Fontaine, but apparently it's it's in the place where you expected the least, where there's dinosaurs and there's like a strong connection to nature. It's so weird. But again, I guess maybe it's because the Geo girl, the leopard Geo girl, is that good at technology. Maybe she changed everything. I'm not sure.
I'm not even necessarily mad at the idea of having more modern tech in Natlan, but the problems lie more in the execution. First, Natlan made a point to set up an aesthetic style for Natlanese technology, like that within the ancient Sacred Mountain area, but then they only used it in that area. If Mauika's motorcycle or Shilonen's DJ set looked
Shilonen, that's who I was talking about.
Anything like this, and not like sleek, modern variations of those objects, maybe they wouldn't have felt so out of place. And another problem with the tech is that no one out
They definitely do feel out of place for sure, but all in all, I don't feel like it matters that much. You know what I mean? It's like, it's fine. We have a genius Shilonen. It's fine. It's like Iron Man. Obviously, the iron suit is, very technological and off consider when you compare the rest of the world's technology to it. But it's fucking Tony Stark. All right, he's the man. He gets to do that stuff, and I think we just have something like that here. And I think so. That's just my tinfoil hat theory.
And the playable characters use it at all. You don't see any other Natlanese people rollerblading or driving vehicles. They probably wouldn't feel so out of place if other people in the 6 tribes had access to this stuff. There is perhaps no location in Natlan that is...
Are they in a club? I'm crying. Yeah, it's they're advanced. Yeah, that's right. The land of dinosaurs, and I think they just chose the wrong region to apply this to. But anyway, here we are.
So out of place as the Easy Breeze holiday resort. I did love the lore that this location provided for Bennett, but everything else about it is so...
There was a lore for Bennett? I gotta check that out. That's our boy. But yeah, look, ain't no one about to disrespect my boy Bennett. Bennett is, I think, if we were to rank the OGs, the best characters in Genshin Impact and how they treated us, Bennett is number 1. Then you got that boy Kazuha, and it goes from there. But Bennett is number 1. Ain't no one fitting to talk shit about my boy Bennett.
Oh, ass, dude. It
Why are they
genuinely
in a band?
feels
I'm crying. Oh yeah, that's a good question.
different game to walk around this resort. There's a huge slide in the shape of a Koholosaurus, a dark ride a la Disneyland, a field that looks like a fucking Wii Sports golf course, and like a music festival area with a dance-off stage. I cannot stress enough how immersion breaking it is to explore this area. Have there been silly summer themed areas in the past?
It's for kids. The more you see, look at the colors, looking at everything, you can tell it's very children themed for sure. I don't think adults will appreciate Natlan as much because that's why it was a breaking point for a lot of us, because we could sense that Genshin has been torn between children/adults in their approach, storytelling, zones, etc. They have chosen. When we saw Natlan, they have chosen it's for children now, where we're like, all right, you got it.
Yes, but none of them have ever had an aesthetic on par with this one. I mean, the Golden Apple Archipelago just looks like it was taken straight out of Mondstadt. Or
you want to know what's sad is that if they were to just apply some of the feedback we've given them, a lot of people would have been more tolerant towards Natlan. But the sad part is, like, the critical blow, the fatal blow that just makes you not want to interact with it at all is simply that these devs ain't doing what they're supposed to do, and thematically you're gonna alienate me? Oh hell no, I am out, boy. And that's a fair sentiment. It's very understandable.
View it in terms of design, while still looking very fantastical, with impossible landscapes that could only be created by a mage of incredible power like Alice. Unfortunately, the visual aspects aren't Natlan's only faults. I and many others also found the lore and quest of this region to be pretty lacking too. We'll start with the basics. Each nation in Teyvat has a divine ideal that is represented by the Archon. So far, we've been
that has the name of a demon. I don't know about that, because maybe them people are worshiping demons, but now unbeknownst to them, so yikes.
Used to 6 ideals of 7: freedom, contracts, eternity, wisdom, justice, and war. Most of these, at least to me,
war, she said. See, here's the thing. It's like in Fontaine, you can see justice. In Sumeru, there was wisdom. Contrast with Zhongli. Yeah. Like, you go to Natlan, it's like, where the war at? You know what I mean? Where the war at?
Represent a good idea of what a divine...
I mean, Inazuma had that war. I feel like Inazuma's war was more war-y than the Natlan one.
Ideal should be, something that a god is supposed to uphold in their nation. Sometimes upholding the ideal leads to conflict in the region. For example, in her upholding of eternity, Raiden Shogun sealed her borders and stole the ability to use elemental magic from her people, all for the sake of keeping Inazuma the same for all time. At the same time, Raiden herself represents the concept of eternity. She locks herself away to practice hundreds of years of meditation and uses undying puppets of herself to exact her will on the people of her nation. It's honestly very upsetting the way that they rushed through her arc so much, because I think she would have made for such a compelling character.
I feel like she's still a compelling character. Like Raiden, she farmed so much aura. She was deeply flawed, and I think that was the point of Raiden Shogun. You know, she's traumatized. She got that PTSD. I feel like that I liked her story. I like Raiden Shogun. It is what it is.
Otherwise. Now think about Maoika in the same way, with regards to her divine ideal, which is war. How does she represent war? Well, she's fighting a war against the Abyss, like everybody else into that. Yeah, maybe they have it worse than other nations, but still, what happens when the war ends? Which it does at the end of the Archon quest. It's not like Maoika is some battle-crazed maniac. At most, she's just kind of thoughtless and reckless in her actions. Do you see how war doesn't really work as a divine ideal, and least of all with Maoika as its representative?
She should have just been something like Kratos, like something very violent, solid. Like she should have been very much more, maybe the Traveler could have waken her up a little bit and stay her hand in how aggressive she is considering her thematic. Could have been a good, a decent approach. I don't know why they went this way. I feel like maybe they tried a follow-up attack on Fiorina because Fiorina didn't like the role she had, right? Maybe they kind of wanted to do something similar. It's like, I'm the goddess of war, but I don't like war. You know, I don't want to be in this position, that type of shit. I don't know.
Also, it's a nation of war made up of 6 different factions, and yet there's absolutely no conflict between them. It really just doesn't make any sense. This is why I personally...
Look, I don't know who used to complain about Mavuika's looks. Y'all are tripping. She is fine as hell. What the... Jesus. Look at that. God damn.
Always thought it would be cool if the Pyro Archon was a villain to her people. Maybe she makes them fight.
Yeah, she should have been something like Raiden Shogun, and kind of like what she's saying now. Like she could have been like she sits there on the throne, kind of like what Augusta did in Septimon in Withering Waves. Like she's just looking at the Colosseum, making people fight, etc. But then again, it's not what happened in Withering Waves. But what she's suggesting here is definitely something I can get behind in Genshin Impact, considering the thematics. She can just make people fight for her amusement, stuff like that. Maybe the Traveler can stay her hand, stuff like that. Get more into her, why she does this, etc. You know what I'm saying? There's so much they can do with that particular theme.
Each other gladiator style for her own entertainment. And then maybe we would have a better rebellion storyline than Inazuma with an Archon that's completely irredeemable. Because we certainly know that the Cryo Archon is gonna get redeemed in some way if she's...
Absolutely. Of course.
Ever going to become playable. We will also touch on that in a later section.
Despite her war crime, look, Vegeta destroyed planets, ended civilizations, and he's now one of the most beloved characters in anime. It's just you just have to show that you're redeemable and you're fine. And obviously the Cryo Archon, something's gonna be revealed that she was doing all this for the greater good. A lot of people are, anti-heroes are beloved. We like anti-heroes. Aya's Archon is probably going to be an anti-hero. So obvious.
And in more detail. Instead, in Maoika, we have an Archon who is a Mary Sue. Ironic when she's the only Archon who is actually a human and would likely have the most flaws out of any of them. The thing is, Maoika is very flawed. She is extremely irresponsible and brash, even when it will put the lives of her entire nation at stake. Her nation is at war with the Abyss, and she's like, well, best thing I can do for you guys now is go to sleep for 500 years and hope and pray that the heroes I need will appear to me when I need them. What? That is crazy of you! And yet the game tries to make me feel bad for her for doing this. The game, instead of pointing out how terrible and risky this plan is, just focuses on the fact that Maoika had to say goodbye to her family in order to put this plan into action. Dog, I do not care. The writing doesn't focus at all on what's important here.
Yeah, because why would she go to sleep? Maybe there's a reason. Maybe she was still young because it showed that she's young. She's just got her powers. Maybe she can't fully take advantage of them. Like a why would have been nice.
It just makes her out to be the perfect Archon who's good at everything and refuses to fail. There were no memorable parts of that quest for me, except for maybe the final battle. And it's not even like the characters here can make up for this nation's incredibly boring and stupid story. For me, all of them were so nothing. It boggles my mind that so many of y'all are shipping these MFs together when they barely have interesting relationships with each other at all. I feel like all of their...
Yeah, it's kind of where shippers shine. They just see a little glimpse of attraction between the two characters. It's just them being friendly or something. ship them. Let them have fun.
Personalities could be explained in one word. Mulaney is bubbly. Kenichi is standoffish. Kachina is insecure. Veresa, she eats a lot. Oh, and Mawika. What can be said that I haven't already touched
She's
on?
hot.
She's good at everything. She's the perfect Archon, and even her reckless plan for saving her nation isn't questioned by anyone that matters or treated by the game as risky at all.
She's that based. She's the Giga Chad. I mean, when you hear what this person just said about her, that's just damn. Okay, obviously I'm biased because Mawika's hot as hell.
Even though it is. And in the end, she just defeats the Abyss with the power of friendship. It reminds
Hey, don't be shitting on the power of friendship.
me of that TikTok where they had the cutscene with all the heroes side by side with the clip from My Little Pony Equestria Girls. The writers go out of their way to make Mawika seem like the coolest person ever, when in reality she has like no personality. Like, can we talk about how her trailer was just this cringe ass music video where all of the nation heroes are playing instruments in a band? Oh my god. It's like literally unbearable to watch. And it's not like
Unless you're a kid.
any of the other characters do anything to move the plot forward. This region doesn't even know how to treat its lore-relevant characters as such. Auroran and Yansan are the Natlan heroes from the Masters of the Nightwind and the Collective of Plenty, respectively, but I guess they're not important enough to be the focuses of the Tribal Chronicles. Instead, those honors are given to Seatlali and Veresa, the latter of which we hadn't even met during the Natlan Archon quest. She was literally invented just to take Yansan's place. I wonder why that is. In any case,
It's because she's fat. We all know it. It's because she's more chubby. She's more... Maybe I'm being too much of a male today. Hold on.
so the important actions are driven by Mawika and the Traveler. So none of these characters feel important at all. They're just accessories to, again, the power of friendship storyline.
Yeah, that applies to a lot of medias. Oh yeah, that we all know it. We all know it. This character is here. Krillin is there so that he dies, so that Goku can become a Super Saiyan. We all know it. We all know it, man. Vegeta is there so that he can fuse with Goku so that they can win. Because ain't no way that boy Toriyama is gonna let our man Vegeta get a W. We all know it.
But like I said, that obviously doesn't work unless these characters feel like they have meaningful relationships with each other, which they don't. Needless to say, I did not pull for any of the Natlan characters, even though their combat mechanics are in the meta right behind lunar reactions. The only one I really wanted,
Oh, well, that was way later.
and only just recently got on Inefa's rerun, was the 4-star character Aoife, and that's mostly because he's a gorgeous cowboy. On the topic of Natlan characters being in the meta, Natlan is also when the shill started getting really bad. Soon enough, the Abyss and other endgame modes were tailor-made for Night Soul mechanics, with some bosses that are nearly impossible to beat without Natlan characters in the team. Just started a trend that only gets worse with time. One that leads us directly into...
Lunar reactions. Oh no, not Cry, Columbina, and the Genshin villain problem. Okay.
It's hard to forget how hyped people were when the first trailer for the new area of Teyvat, Nodcry, was released. Nodcry is a subnation of Snezhnaya, the last of the 7 nations we were supposed to visit in our search for our lost twin, so naturally the lore is getting pretty intense here.
I did not know that. Okay. So this was supposed to be Snezhnaya, but Snezhnaya since then moved, so we're in the remainings of the OG Snezhnaya. That's pretty cool.
But the reaction to seeing so many lore-relevant characters in one trailer was immense. We got first glimpses of 2 members of the Hexen Circle, Alice and Nicole, the Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius, Varka, who we'd only heard about in passing until this point, and 2 Fatui
That's why I just had to pull up real quick to Genshin, check it out again.
Harbingers that hadn't appeared on screen before, Sandrone and Columbina. Every look we got was very fleeting, and it was hard to glean any info from this trailer alone, but people were still so excited. Imagine what Nodcry has in store if there's so many important characters here, ones that we've only heard whispers about prior. Well, Nodcry is better than Natlan by a long shot, but would you hate me if I said that this also disappointed me? Don't get me wrong, Nodcry in a lot of ways was kind of a positive return to form for Genshin. First of all, these characters actually feel like they know each other past, teehee, we're all best buddies. Aino and Inefa are so sweet, Varka and Flynn's are hilarious together, and Nefer and Lauma have some of the
God damn. Jesus.
craziest Yuri subtext since Beidou and Ningguang. These characters feel more real as a result of their relationships with each other. I could enumerate more about them based on how they interact with others. Crazy, right? It made for a more interesting quest too, one that I could more easily become invested in. Nodcry did a lot of stuff right, but the true problem with the region unfortunately falls on the back of one character for me. One that was so highly anticipated, not just by me, but by so many people in this fandom, but she delivered so little. Columbina. I know, there's a lot of Columbina lovers out there, but I'm sorry, There are so many reasons I cannot stand this woman, and part of it is because she's a complete disappointment. You might be familiar with the way that people thought Columbina was going to be a creepy character, maybe leaning into the biblically accurate angel aesthetic. There was a super popular theory that Columbina was a member of the canonical angel race, so this would make sense in a way. This creepy aesthetic for Columbina was also explored in a beautiful animation for Hoyoshills called Stairway to Heaven by Kieru. The imagery is so spooky and it uses like analog horror elements, and if you haven't seen it, you should watch it after this. Oh my god, it's amazing. And this assumption that Columbina would be scary was not for nothing. People are always like, you just had an image in your head of what you wanted Columbina to be, and now you're disappointed that it didn't happen. And even if that is partially why people are disappointed, there is still in-game...
Yeah, people expect certain things from characters and medias, and if the media isn't what it seemed to be advertised as, they're going to be disappointed. Imagine that.
Evidence in lore-relevant YouTube videos to support what people thought about her. Let's go over some, shall we? 1. Columbina's appearance. Let's go over what we knew she looked like from our first look at her, the Winter Nights Lotso trailer. First, she has black and dark pink hair, colors that do not suggest something delicate or gentle. However, these dark colors are paired with Columbina's winged headdress, made of white feathers like dove wings. Not only does this mirror her name, Columbina, which means little dove, it also bears the appearance of a seraph, a type of angel in Christian theology. Seraphs typically have 3 pairs of wings and have the role of singing the praises of their god. Considering Columbina was a Fatui harbinger, maybe the praises that she was singing were for the Tsaritsa.
Of course.
Columbina is also clearly wearing a black and pink outfit under her Fatui coat, something that they very evidently dropped in her final design. Finally, Columbina has her eyes covered, suggesting maybe an unfeeling or uncaring personality, or maybe some mysterious power that lies behind her eyes. 2.
She has a showering gun.
Columbina's actions. In the trailer, she is singing a soft lullaby, smiling gently while laying along the coffin of her recently deceased fellow harbinger. I don't care what anyone says, that's creepy. It shows that she kind of has this detached attitude regarding death,
she doesn't
especially
care.
of her own colleague. 3. What other characters say about her. Child's voice line about his fellow harbinger points the most to a scary character in Columbina.
The Fatui harbingers are ranked by strength, and I have no idea why that girl is number 3. I'd test my skills with every harbinger who ranks above me if I had the chance. But when it comes to her, something just doesn't feel right. Anyway, you should be careful around her.
Even Child sounded scared to challenge her to a battle, and he loves fighting with strong opponents.
Yep, he does.
Scaramouche also suggests staying away from her and implies that she is not as innocent as she seems.
Let me ask. What should you do if you were to encounter a damsel who is oblivious and innocent at any given time, and unconcerned and unfeeling in any given situation? If it were me, I could at least challenge her to a fight. But if it were you, with your conscience, I would stay away from her.
The way that I've seen people defend this is by saying that Child and Scaramouche are bad at reading people, and they didn't know her that well, so of course their assumption would be wrong. They just knew that she was powerful. Dude,
I think Scaramouche, what he meant was considering Traveler likes to save people, and considering how she's a lost cause, you probably shouldn't dabble with that because you'll want to save her, and she's such a lost cause, you just end up hurting yourself in the process.
You are not getting at the reason why these voice lines are put in the game. Yes, they are useful for showing the relationships between characters and what characters think about each other, but they should also be used to provide hints and information about characters that we haven't met yet. If you put in a voice line about Columbina not being what she seems, then people are going to listen to that and assume that she's not what she seems, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think people just aren't willing to admit that Genshin has bad and inconsistent writing sometimes. 4th, her rank. Columbina was long known to be the 3rd harbinger. It's also been known for a long time that the closer they are to number 1 in the rankings, the more powerful they are. Columbina being number 3, especially right below Dottore, who is notably unhinged and evil, suggests that she is not only similarly powerful, but also similarly devoted to her work as part of a major villain faction. I cannot stress this enough. Clearly, there is a wealth of evidence to support the theories that people had about Columbina. I'm tired of people pretending that it wasn't there, and I'm tired of people pretending that it wouldn't have worked tonally. There is literally a villain who does human experimentation. There was literally genocide in Conria. But no. Instead, we learn that Columbina is actually a moon goddess? Okay, sure. But also she's actually just a damsel in distress, like her name suggests. She's timid and soft-spoken and gentle, And she's shy at first, but eventually opens up to you. And you are the most special person in her life, even though you've known her for maybe 2 weeks. I cannot.
Who the hell are those guys? Oh, girls. Sorry.
Person in her life, even though you've known her for.
God dang, girl, they looking fancy. I think those are NPCs, if I'm not mistaken. That is pretty cool. I must admit, they are pretty cool. But obviously, what she's saying here is like, duh, of course that they're gonna do that. It's just maybe they changed her writing. Obviously, maybe they had one thing in mind, but then they decided, why would we do that? Well, we can do just this and cash in on her. It's like duh.
Maybe 2 weeks. I cannot stand how willfully obtuse people will be about Columbina, pretending not to see the fan service that is sitting right in front of them. She hides behind the Traveler when she doesn't know how to.
I think what she's failing to realize is people have headcanons. And so people are still going to apply some of their headcanon on top of what, well, basically the story is saying. I think that's why she has an issue with that. I think she's very pragmatic. She just looks at what's going on and bases everything on what the media is telling. Not everybody's like that. I think this is why she's yeah.
Talk to people. Aw, she likes to eat snacks. Aw, you get to feed her during Moon Prayer Night while the English VA is moaning into the mic every 2 seconds. Aw, she's so weak. She can't do anything by herself and probably would have died if the Traveler hadn't rescued her. Aw. People like to pretend that it's somehow misogynistic to point this out. Again, purposefully ignoring that Hoyo is writing her this way intentionally. Guys, I kid you not, she literally turns invisible for a significant portion of the Archon quest. I promise you, that is not feminist. And it's not even like the moon goddess thing makes any sense. They even come up with some last-minute reason why she covers her eyes. There was a time when I refused to look upon the world. I believed it was full of nothing but lies and falsehoods. I wished to hide my feelings, seal my heart, until I could return to my true
No, that's a
home.
classic.
Oh my god. If this is what they originally planned to do with her, which it wasn't, then she was a goddamn waste of a Harbinger slot.
Sure, I'm with her there on this one. She should have been a Harbinger. Absolutely, 100%. The crazy isn't there. There's not enough crazy in the final reveal for her to feel like she deserves to be a Harbinger. But does this mean her trope is bad? No, I think it's cute. I'm hearing some of that feminist stuff behind what she's saying about it. It's fine, but it's fine criticism, I guess. But see, this is a game for guys. Believe it or not, this is a game for guys that have a problem with getting girlfriends IRL. And guys like to protect and guys like to be heroes. And so they have to sell them that fantasy. Yeah, if you don't believe me, go look at Dawei's pitch to investors trying to sell them on Genshin Impact before Genshin was a thing. Or actually Honkai Impact even.
Clear to me that she was never their original intention for the moon.
Oh, obviously not.
Her design suffers so bad as a result of Hoyo's ineptitude. I mean, look at these colors. They don't go together at all. Oh my god, she's so beautiful. No, she's not.
Well, no, whoa, hold on. I mean, have you seen that? I think she's pretty. I think she's pretty. Damn. In a non-sexual way, I do, because I'm not attracted to this body type at all. But yeah, she's adorable.
Her design is 2 different designs smashed together. In fact, these colors only look okay together when they purposefully give the outfit more purple tones, which they could have just as easily done in the game model, but they didn't. Even her constellation is a mishmash of her Fatui aesthetic and her goddess aesthetic. We have both the traditional portrait shape that all the other gods in the game get, and also her symbol of the crying dove, just shoved right in at the bottom. I completely believe the idea that Nodcry, or that this character at least, was rewritten at some point because there is no indication that they had any semblance of.
There's clearly rewritten. 1,000,000%. It's super obvious. And it was obviously rewritten for the reasons I've already mentioned that I'm about to mention again. They've seen the hype. They're like, well, shit, we need to sell this girl. How are we going to do this? You know what? Change it up. Give them what they always like. Put more oomph into it this time, though, because she's that loved. And she's supposed to have a very important role in the story that we're telling in this region. You got it, boss. And there we are. That's Columbina.
A plan for such a highly anticipated character. And the most frustrating part about all of this to me is that Hoyo actually leans into several of the things that people thought about Columbina, but only enough that it feels like they're teasing and laughing in the face of their fans, as if we read into it too much or something. In her burst, she grows wings like an angel, and these wings bear resemblance to a Seelie court, both echoing the theory that she is an angel. But she's not an angel. In her character trailer, she performs a ballet, which calls to mind for me the very popular fan design in which she was a ballerina, something that the ribbons on her hands and feet might suggest.
Sure.
And it kills me because this trailer is beautiful. The visuals and the choreography are gorgeous. The symbolism of Dottore as the pianist who's controlling the dance by playing the music. Oh my god, I love it. But it would be even better if she was a dancer or a ballerina of some kind, because she isn't, even though that would have made a lot of sense thematically with her singing. Perhaps the strangest example of Hoyoverse leaning into the theories about Columbina is that they have the singer Aurora wearing a dress with eyes on it during the Welkin Moon concert, which suggests the biblically accurate angel thing. Maybe I'm reading too much into this last one especially, but I cannot take it. It is so frustrating because they are so close. But no, Genshin is allergic to having playable characters who are morally gray or irredeemable. This leads to what...
It didn't used to be the case. We have Tartaglia, we have Scaramouche. Like, those are characters that are in the gray. I feel like they just stopped. They obviously just stopped. Because I feel like Genshin would dabble sometimes in that type of stuff, like as mentioned. So it's sad to see, really.
I lovingly refer to as the Genshin villain problem. Other popular gacha games, like Cookie Run Kingdom, literally have morally reprehensible or canonically dead characters that are playable. What is stopping Genshin from making their villains stay villains, but also become playable? Columbina is just an embodiment of a bigger problem in Genshin. They do not want to have any characters who have questionable morals become playable.
Yeah, duh. Because, like, you're supposed to be the good guys. I feel like the only odd one thing is Frolova and Wuthering Waves, and even then we're given a somewhat of a good reason as to why she would likely team up with Rover, because, you know, her past with him. And even then, like, she's still a villain technically in the game right now. She is with the Fractidus, even though she's playable. So I feel like that's the odd one out I can think of, but besides that, you know, it's the good guys versus the bad guys. And what's funny is that the fan base wants the bad guys to become good guys because the bad guys look so good, they want to play as them too. That's kind of the problem.
Most of the time, this ends up going in two ways. The first is that the character is redeemed and then becomes friends with the Traveler before becoming playable. This is what has happened to every playable Harbinger thus far. Tartaglia fights anything that moves, but he respects the Traveler even though they have different motives and values. He only ever wants a friendly spar with them. Scaramouche has no one else who understands his past and is connected with the Traveler in that way. Arlecchino is a ruthless woman who is grooming children to be a part of the Fatui, but it turns out that the House of the Hearth is a lot less sinister under her rule, so that's okay too, I guess. And Columbina...
This battle was never about fate. It's about friends, family, and the home you
This is the most obnoxious thing I've ever experienced in my life.
The second one...
No, I like that stuff. Go hug a tree or something. I like that stuff. Yeah, it could be cheesy at times. Sure, I get it, but that's some cool stuff to me.
Way it goes is that the character cannot be redeemed and is therefore killed off so that they won't become playable. This is what happened to Signora way back in Inazuma, and most recently it happened to Dottore. This was honestly shocking to me, especially considering how much of a fan favorite Dottore is. Let me be clear, Dottore is a horrible person, and he should not be redeemed. We should be able to understand his motives without forgiving him for what he has done.
Absolutely.
He has imposed so much pain on so many people in the game, and his morals are extremely corrupt, but he's still very, very interesting, and you can sometimes almost understand where he's coming from while still not condoning his methods, which I must stress is what makes a well-written villain. People love this guy's character. But now, he can never become playable because as of right now, he's dead. Little did you know, though, that there is a secret third option, which is what they did to Capitano, a combo of options 1 and 2. They redeemed him and then still killed him off anyway. What a strange decision that was. Again, for a character that was extremely highly anticipated, they just threw in all this tragic backstory for him at the very end of the Natlan Archon quest, and then he fucking died right after that, so none of it mattered at all. It's like they don't understand their own visual cues. A perfect example of this to me is Escoffier. Maybe, again, this might be just me, but even she gave me creepy vibes in the silhouette teaser from the live stream where they revealed upcoming characters for 2025. Okay. She has this hair that sticks out, the shape of which largely resembles horns and conveys a sort of like wildness of her personality. She has a devil's pitchfork tail that's positioned up where we can clearly see it.
Yeah.
And she's holding a sharp knife up. Like,
that's scary.
She looked psycho to me.
She does.
And I was intrigued. And at least that would have been interesting and different. But no, not only is this design ass, but it's also incredibly misleading. She's just kind of a tsundere who's very particular about her food. I don't understand why they're like this, guys. One of my favorite comments...
Because it's for children. Not that complicated. I can understand why an adult will be confused by that, but once you understand that it's trying to cater to children, yeah, a lot of things start to fall into place, don't they?
That I've seen about this that just perfectly embodies my feelings on the matter is this from the unofficial Genshin subreddit. They're allergic to morally gray, redeemable, or just bad characters because they don't know how to write anything that isn't a shitty isekai where the main character wins using the power of friendship and his harem. Oh.
They obviously choose not to because that's not what sells to their target demographic. It's all business, really. The more you think about it, the more it makes sense. That's why a lot of us just dropped Genshin without looking back, really. It's because we could easily recognize that through patterns. And that's it. Like, once you recognize it, you have a choice to make. You either keep entertaining it or you don't. A lot of us chose not to, especially when you take into consideration the dev practices in the sense of the live service model we have going on. Like, this just sucks. Like, they're a little too greedy now, and that's no. We're out.
Speaking of harem,
and they don't listen enough. Okay, so far we're 30 minutes in, and I feel like there's some back and forth to be had, but nothing that deserves the degree of negativity that we've seen from this. So maybe it's in this final half.
It's an anime gacha game. You have to expect fan service. Okay, I know that. But Genshin used to be different from other games in its genre, and I mean that genuinely. There used to be a much better ratio of female to male 5-star characters than many other gacha games, because so many gacha games are targeted at male audiences who aren't perceived as being interested in the male characters. And there were sexy character outfits, especially on the women, lots of detached sleeves, short skirts, also known as the coochie flap, thigh-high socks, or boots. But they were nowhere near as bad as they are now. These women are nearly naked now. And not only does...
And that's a problem. How is that a problem? I'm playing. Of course, it can be a bit too much sometimes, but I feel like they are few and far between in terms of the new units. Am I tripping?
Does that make me mad and uncomfortable from a standpoint of being a woman who feels objectified just by looking at these designs, but also from a character design standpoint?
Well,
women are nearly naked now. And not only does that make me mad and uncomfortable from a standpoint of being a woman who feels objectified just by looking at these designs.
Oh, come on. Don't pull that on us. You knew what you signed up for the moment you pulled up to these gacha streets. Don't pull that on us. You're right. I'm not saying you're not right. You obviously you can feel that way. But it's like, come on. Man, have you seen what people say about these women over here in these gacha streets? Like these 2D anime baddies are made to be objectified, and people will say the craziest comments about them because they were made to be objectified. That is because it's not real. That this character does not exist. We cannot objectify real women, but we can definitely objectify these hoes. That's it, man. It's like, goddamn. I don't like to participate in that personally, as you may have noticed when I look into characters and stuff like that. I tried to because that was used to be the meta, from a creator standpoint, but it just didn't click with who I am as a person. I'm a respectful guy. Sometimes. The more you know me, the less respectful I can become. And girls know what I'm talking about. And so, yeah, there it is, man. I don't know why she's pulling this on us. I understand it. It's just, don't do that, please. You're doing it in the wrong place.
But also from a character design standpoint, I have quite a bit to say about the sharp drop-off in not only the quality of the Genshin character designs, but also in the tastefulness of them. To show you what I mean, we can talk about some early Genshin designs to compare them to more recent ones. I think it's important to discuss the physical elements of these characters first before we discuss the fan service elements of their presentation, writing, and personalities, because the physical appearance is the most obvious element, but I promise we will get to the other stuff in due time. Also keep in mind that I'm only going to be talking about female characters because most of the time, the male characters are almost always covered from chin to toe now, aka the fan service is not equal opportunity. One of the first characters I'll mention is Lisa, one of the very first
Yeah, that rock climbing, man. Yeah, I never thought rock climbing can be fun until I met Lisa.
Anime fan servicey characters that we're introduced to in the game. She teases the traveler, she calls them cutie, and she's averse to doing any sort of work. Her character design communicates so much about her though, nonetheless. Her hairstyle, which is very loose and almost looks like it's falling out on one side, shows us that lazy element of her personality. Her purple, black, and gold color palette obviously communicates.
I thought that just made her hotter. Like that's supposed to mean something. Okay.
It's her element of electro, but also a sense of importance, luxuriousness, and magic. Her classically styled witch hat also conveys the latter, of course. Yae Miko is similar to Lisa.
Oh man, that's my girl right here. Shouts out to my girl Yae Miko, man. Shouts out to my boy Scoop. I remember you, Scoop. That man C6'd her, and he had the most insane Yae Miko I've ever seen.
In terms of teasing personality, although Miko can get a bit more cruel and self-indulgent with it. She has a sharper eye shape than Lisa's gentle round eyes to indicate this part of her personality. Her outfit is also a stylized.
Yeah, she's a little devious
version of a traditional Japanese shrine maiden outfit, giving her the required amount of
kind of like Hayuki with her waves.
Gacha game sexiness while also showing her spiritual importance in Inazuma. Her design being more complicated than the other Shrine Maidens also signifies that her role is the most important of all of them. Her hair is the color of a sakura blossom.
Where's the main character?
And she has cherry blossom motifs in her clothing, again emphasizing her Japanese inspiration, but also her connection to the sacred sakura of Inazuma, which is deeply connected with her element of electro. Xinyan is one of my favorite Liyue character designs.
Oh man, they did her so wrong. They did her so wrong. I used to like her too. They did her so wrong. Her kid is so bad.
Because it combines traditional elements of Chinese clothing styles with Xinyan's rock aesthetic, so you immediately know by looking at her what she represents. Xinyan wears lots of dark colors, spikes, and fishnet, features common in punk or alternative clothing styles. All of this is accented by red and orange, obviously representing her pyro vision, but also her passionate and fiery personality. Her hair even looks like it's glowing from the inside, which I always thought was such a cool detail. However, Xinyan also has some very subtle nods to her Liyuean culture. So while she mostly represents a counterculture in Liyue, she still maintains cohesion with the other character designs in her region. The last of the older character designs that I'm going to touch on is Navia's, probably my favorite.
Oh, I love Navia. She's so good. She's super sweet. I love Navia.
Fontanian design personally. This design is basically a
Yeah, low-key, it is probably the best Fontaine design. Yeah, low-key, I might be with her on that one. Yeah, Navia looks amazing.
sluttier version of a traditional French aristocratic gown, but it still covers most of her body. Navia's design exudes wealth. It is full of ruffles and jewels. She has these big billowy curls. She's got this big hat decorated with feathers. She brings along a frilly parasol. She also maintains connection to her hometown of Poisson with these ship wheels on her hips, as well as the canon theming of her elemental birth.
Oh, people had an issue with her calling Navia's design a little slutty, which it kind of is. I mean, can you? Duh. I mean, it's kind of done on purpose, and we appreciate the devs for doing that. I mean, goddamn.
Navia is also a very cheerful character, which her yellow color palette communicates, and she also's got these cute sparkles in her eyes that show that.
Yeah.
As you can see, these designs are not
Navia's
only pretty
adorable.
tasteful
I love
in terms
Navia.
of gacha character designs, but
And she was strong too. She do a lot of damage.
they also do their job. They communicate information about the character, even if you knew nothing about them to begin with. This is what makes a good character design, and it is ironically what many character designs in modern Genshin fail to do. Not only that, but they also get more and more boring and more insulting as time goes on.
How
So
so?
let's take a walk through them, shall we? This ought to be fun. One of my least favorite recent characters is Seat Lali. Again, I know a fan favorite, but I'm sorry, I do not like her. Her design certainly isn't the most offensive of the Natlan ones. I just find her annoying. I do think
I feel like she's a very, very classic anime trope of the girl in love. Yeah, I don't know the name, but I've seen a lot of Sitlalis. If you watch anime, you have seen a lot of Sitlalis.
her English VA is very good at their job and that they do a great job with Seat Lali's voice. But I really just don't like the character's writing. We will talk about that in a bit. One of the things I dislike about her design, though, is this goddamn leotard that she's wearing. This girl is literally wearing a thong. The sweater thing would go right up her butt crack. I cannot stand stuff like this. Also,
I feel like we're having a little bit of that girl commentary here. Hold on, let me hear that again.
is this goddamn character's writing. We will talk about that in a bit. One of the things I dislike about her design, though, is this goddamn leotard that she's wearing. This girl is literally wearing a thong. The sweater thing would go right up her butt crack. I cannot stand stuff like this. Also,
Well, what's the problem with it? It sounds like a nitpick. That's a you problem. I think that looks good. It's obviously not made for you. Do you like girls? Clearly not. I happen to like what I see. That's right. Problems. Problems. A man likes what a man likes. I think that's cute. I would love to see it on a bigger baddie. Yeah, it looks good to me.
side note real quick, I have to pause to talk about the state of Genshin character trailers. Can we talk about how these videos used to be actual showcases of the character's combat abilities with like little elements of story sprinkled in? Ones that strike this balance well, in my opinion, are Nahida's trailer.
Nahida. I miss Nahida. She's so adorable.
But now character trailers are either one, headache-inducing fan edits with these wildly inappropriate aesthetic choices like Nefer's trailer or Seat Lali's, or two, music videos that make me feel like I'm going to implode from cringing, like Shilonen or Mawika's trailer.
Fair
At
enough.
most, these ones show the elemental burst animation. It doesn't tell you anything about what it's like to actually play the character in the video game that I'm supposed to be pulling for them in. Tell me how that's supposed to give me a good impression of these characters. Anyway, back to Seat Lali's outfit. It's the same thing
Well, if you're a kid, if you're a child,
with Mawika. Her design features a zipper that goes all the way around between her legs up to her back. That can't be comfortable, right?
yeah, and it's because of that you know she's looking for something. She wants that attention, and I am willing
to deliver.
especially riding a motorcycle? And also, what exactly does this design communicate about Mawika other than being a biker?
Is that she's hot. Is that she's sexy as hell. And we're all for it. You're welcome. It's really not that complicated. It's really that simple. Guys are simple, ladies. It's really not that hard. You know what is hard? Us after seeing stuff like this. Anyway.
Yeah, I guess she's got sun imagery to represent her Archon hood, but to me, her hair is the only thing about her design that gives me Pyro Archon. But then, you know, all of that still goes away when she fights and her hair lights up. And then we have Veresa. I was really excited about this design when I saw the silhouette in that same teaser we were talking about earlier. Oh my gosh, a girl
It's
that's
like a demon.
cow. Oh my god, that's gonna be so cute. I love these braids and the big
thought it was a demon.
horns. I mean, I wonder what kind of color palette she'll have. Maybe like browns and greens, something earthy because she's a farm animal.
A lot of people had an issue with her because apparently she's supposed to be chubby. Low-key, this is one of the best designs in terms of sexiness, in my opinion.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, I guess that works too. Just kidding. I hate this design. One of my least favorites in the entire game. I just like, what was the point, dude? Why is she so like kawaii themed? She's got hearts and bows everywhere. She wears leg warmers and a cardigan. The skirt is pointless because it's too short to cover her ass. You expect me to believe that this is a lucha?
That's a good thing. What's the problem? Do you have an issue with that? We don't have much issues with that. We don't have those issues. No, I'm sorry. No, sorry. Some of that gotcha smack, creepy smack.
A Libre fighter. I know that luchadoras often dress in similar silhouettes to Veresa's outfit, but they didn't incorporate any elements of the culture that Veresa is inspired by, or the one that her name comes from. There are plenty of lucha libre fighters who incorporate.
Oh, it's supposed to be a
elements
lucha
of their culture
libre,
into their
okay.
costumes. They could have gotten really creative with it, but it's not like it even matters because we never even get to see her fight like a luchadora in the game. It's all just the food bullshit and falling on her ass all the time. It's especially frustrating because the animators have been getting really creative with the normal attack animation.
You know what that means? It's really bouncy. Yeah.
Lately, they could have gone crazy with her and made her do insane moves. Something like this.
Oof.
Like I said earlier, I was interested too in Escoffier's design based on the silhouette, but I was also very disappointed with this reveal. Not only does this outfit make no sense with regards to breaking up any colors or...
I feel like we are really having that girl critiquing. You know what I mean? So we're gonna have to understand a bit. All right, I guess we gotta lock in a little here.
with this weird heart theming that she has, similar to Veresa. Again, I don't know why they keep doing this, but her outfit is literally just the sexy chef Halloween costume.
That stuff caught me yawning. From a male perspective, we're all for it. But obviously, for someone that just wants to be immersed in a badass, just combat, just, you know, shit is serious out here. It's not all about, you know, I want to disregard romance. Like, I'm not in the mood for romance. I'm in the mood for doing cool stuff. Yeah, this can get in the way, sure. Because here's the thing with me, for example, I might appreciate stuff like this, but the reality is that's not why I play these games. It's a good bonus, but it's not why I play. Like, this doesn't really incentivize me to really want to pick up a character most of the time. So like a character should check more important boxes like power, relatability, etc., their role in the story before I have to look into how sexy they are. The aesthetic needs to be good and appealing enough, because here's the thing, I feel like there's aesthetics and then there's sexiness. You know what I mean? I feel like aesthetically, as long as you're good, you have my interest. And then I can look at how sexy you are. Because there's two filters in which I like to proceed in, for example, looking at a female character. That's just how I go. I'll be honest, Loki, even real women. That's just me, though. Like, at first, I don't like to feel attraction towards a woman right off the bat. I just don't necessarily. I feel like that's a defense mechanism I developed over the years. That didn't used to be the case, but throughout the years, I developed this mechanism. And the reason why is simple. I have been very wrong before. They're attractive, you're attracted immediately, it's super cool, it's super this. They turned out to be not good people, and so it feels like you basically lost to this default setting you have from a biological standpoint and put yourself in a position you had no business being there, because that person and the way they are is someone below you. Like, that's a loser. Like, why am I interacting with this dumb whatever? You know what? Oh, because she's hot? Man, that's so, it's like I'm a slave to attractiveness, to this biological default setting I come with. Hell no, I gotta do something about it, because know, that shit puts me in trouble and stuff. It creates problems. I don't want those problems, especially because of this shit. And so what I did is basically right off the bat, I can see something attractive, but I will not be that attracted to you until I know you at a personal level. I feel like that is the best way to navigate attractiveness. That's just me, though. So sorry, a little bit of a tangent here, but I feel like this is a very important conversation for us guys to have as we go over thematics like this.
Costume. She's wearing an apron with nothing underneath it. Not only is that insulting, but it's boring and it's lazy.
Wait, what? Why is it insulting? Sure, you know what? She's playing a lot of the feminist cards. I feel like that's a safe thing to say. There's some feminism here, 100%. It's dripping from it. While I understand it, if it's not for you, I guess it's just not for you. You don't have to come here and critique the game's designs this much when clearly you're not supposed to be the target audience. I feel like the suggestion should be not to shit on these characters, but rather, please give me more of this. I wish we could just have more of this. You guys are eating good, obviously. I would like some stuff for me too. I would like to eat too. Can a girl have that? God damn. I feel like that would have been a more better type of approach to how you went about criticizing the game here.
You guys literally couldn't bother to design a shirt for her to wear under this apron. They would just rather put more effort into the detailing on her fucking stockings than design her a shirt. Skirk makes me mad in a similar way because they literally took an already very revealing outfit and made her more naked when she made the transition from NPC to playable character.
Yeah. I don't want to be that guy because I really feel bad for you, considering the backlash you've gotten. But in this section, I have a hard time not saying it because I feel like a lot of us guys are already thinking it now. But hoes mad? I don't want to be that guy, but you're making it hard not to be. I still feel bad for you for everything. I do agree in some of the things you're saying here, but I feel like in terms of your critiquing in the lens you're looking at these characters and how you're going about it, I have a hard time not saying hoes mad. That's just me though.
Sure. Llama is one of the ones that makes me the saddest because I actually really love the way that she's
so fine
written in the narrative. Her voice acting is so beautiful and gentle, and I find her quiet strength to be really, really compelling. It just sucks because she would be perfect if she wasn't almost naked. For Llama, I don't feel hatred like I do.
Fair enough. On that one, fair enough. I feel like sometimes sexiness does take away from the depth of a character. Sure.
Do for Verisa because Llama has good writing to make up for her design. I just feel bad for her. Like, oh my god, you poor woman. You're probably so cold and uncomfortable all the time.
She has superpowers. Like, we all know these women that they disregard. Especially, she's not even a woman. I think she's supposed to be a creature that transforms and takes a human form. I mean...
Actually, she's named after a creature from Baltic folklore. That's
there it is. Here we go.
Traditionally depicted as a nude woman. That is literally just...
Whoa, there we go. Thematically, it makes sense for her to be this way.
Just another excuse to make a woman with large breasts...
See, now you're really emphasizing hoes mad even more. Jesus Christ.
Walk around with a single piece of cloth covering her ass. You can't convince me that Llama isn't meant to be sexualized by the game when she makes...
Yes, it's supposed to be sexual. That's the whole point. We know that too. Not every character is that, but a lot of them are going to be that way. Duh.
This face while bound by Rayrear. Finally, we have Nefer.
This is once again, this is complaining that a pizza place is selling pizza. Don't go to the pizza place because that's what they do over there.
Now, I don't really hate this design necessarily. I actually really like the top of it. Her hairstyle is really cool. I love the cape and the vibrant gold and green colors, but it's just another design in this long pattern of just giving up on the legs of these female character designs. Not only does this white skirt completely blend into her insanely pale skin, but they also make no effort to give her some socks or stockings to balance out these colors or make the design more interesting. Like, I really love this fan design that not only gives her a darker skirt, but also some snake pattern thigh high.
This is pretty cool. Yeah, I can get behind this one.
Socks. I really wish that they had leaned into her snake theming more as a side note, but alas, it's always the same. A super detailed design from the waist up and absolutely nothing except maybe a thigh garter on the legs. Again, Columbina falls into this too. She wears this super detailed tiny dress.
Honkai Star Rail does this even more so than Genshin. Am I tripping?
One that's so short it makes her legs look obscenely long like a spider. And then she doesn't even wear shoes, just these fuck-ass water orb heels because they couldn't bear to let a woman walk flat on her feet. And the way that these women are drawn sometimes is so...
No, it's because she's magical and stuff. See, here we go. It's that feminist stuff. Like, am I crazy here? I feel like it's so fucking blatant. I can see why. I don't know why you haven't apologized for this part. It's like you're misunderstanding how the target audience behave towards the way they're doing this piece of media. I don't know, girl. Like, you have me in some things for sure. I'm with you, but on this one, I don't know. It feels like you're letting your own personal biases affect how you should critique the game. The only way I feel like you should have critiqued it here is you guys are eating, I should be eating too. And not because like the more you talk, the more you're trying to project yourself into these girls, which are not necessarily girls, they are products. Now, surprise, surprise, they're not real, they're products. Products meant to be sold to people who have an issue in real life with romance, that takes advantage of a grand, big loneliness epidemic that we have in the world right now, especially the Western world. That's just what they're doing, all right? Like, come on.
Stupid too. Even the character designs that I consider to be better than these suffer from the fan service. Even though I wish her skirt was longer to add some variety to the designs, I really like Mizuki's design. But
what she should be saying here maybe is something like, look, these characters are amazing guys, but that's not what's going to help you get a girlfriend IRL. Like they're taking advantage of you. And watch out now. I can see the appeal, but watch out now. Something like that. I feel like that would have been a lot better.
She literally shows her butt to the camera during her burst and in her official art. In fact, Hoyo only draws these characters in impossible poses more and more for the sake of making them more goonable. Literally, Mizuki is posed.
Look at Daoi's pitch to investors. Again, you're in a pizza place and you're complaining about pizzas.
So you can somehow see her underboob and butt at the same time.
Yeah. Duh.
They do the same thing with Mawika. Her back is arched so heavily just so that they can display both her cleavage and her ass.
Just like a lot of girls in IG. Yeah. If you open Instagram, you're going to see a lot of that. And we're all for it because it appeals to guys. You are clearly not the target audience. We are. We're eating good here. Do not enforce your own worldviews and your own preferences into how guys' preferences are. That's not for you. It's for us. Look at the male characters. You got Kaya. You go hang out with Kaya. We're gonna be over here with our 2D anime buddies.
Varese is also the same. Plus, she's making that face like, oh, you caught me, and I have food all over my face. Oh no! Oh my god. I hated saying that out loud. And see, Lali is literally.
This part shouldn't have been this long. You can tell like she's really trying to drive this point home in terms of design. Like the hose mad is so present in this part of the video. I have a hard time being with you on this one. Like, god damn.
Squishing her chest so heavily with what? A stuffed
I haven't noticed that. God damn, what the hell, babe?
animal? A pillow? That is not how this part of the body works. This is only.
Yes, it does. Maybe not for you. Yes, it does. You've seen what bras do to that part of the body. And it's crazy. That's how that works, especially in anime. And we all know that's how it works in anime. Because you forget something very important. That's anime. Physics in anime are very different. That's right. And we're all for it.
One of the anime fan service tropes that Genshin has increasingly leaned into over time. As the game progresses, we only get more and more characters that fit the tsundere character type.
Yes.
Oh my god. It's over, guys. We only get more and more characters that fit the tsundere character type. Oh my god, I can't fucking say this. As the game progresses, we only get more and more characters that fit the tsundere character type, which I personally find annoying. Lali and Sandrone are the biggest examples of this, but I would also argue that Escoffier falls into this trope sometimes. Somewhat related is the increasing number of characters who have very obvious crushes or similar devotion to the Traveler, all of whom seem to be women, ironically. Ayaka was a big one early on, but since then we've had Mizuki blushing around the Traveler and the game purposefully putting her into situations in which we're meant to like cutely embarrass her. It's clearly meant to have a teasing romantic tone to it. Similarly, Lali has a big crush on the Traveler, made evident by being portrayed like this in her Valentine's Day art, and by all the times the game has given us very convenient plot-related ways to read each other's thoughts. Dude, this shit is painful to play. And then most recently, we've had Columbina.
It's just not for you. It's kind of like it wasn't for me, and I just dropped it. But I understand how it can be appealing for some players. Like it's fine. Also, goddamn, bro, what the hell in the background there, girl? Goddamn, she's in the background, but she's mugging album.
Who again has only one true friend in the Traveler, and she cutely hides behind you, and you get to feed her. Again, these are all very romance-coded behaviors.
Yeah.
The Traveler is literally represented as her savior and dance partner in her trailer. It is a pattern at this point. Can we please let women have more interesting relationships with the main character than being their shy waifu all the time? And again, this fan service is never.
Well, for some they do. I feel like Farina, for example, like that wasn't romantic. Like it felt like it's a friend coming to the rescue. Like she was saved. She was a damsel in distress, but there wasn't that romantic ending to it. In my Raiden Shogun too, I think that's very more emphasized with Raiden Shogun. Like Raiden Shogun is just shown to be this. She too can be sweet. She likes sweets. She likes stuff like that. Even though she's cold as hell, but there wasn't romance. I feel like there wasn't any romance in the end there. And so yeah, and those are probably some of the most, if not the most popular female characters in the game. So I feel like I don't know. Like they're gonna do that sometimes, but obviously for the most part, they're gonna go with the romance part because again, it keeps going back to the what store am I in? It keeps going back to where you at, what to expect from the product in question. Fact is, this product sells anime girls to people that are lonely, that want girlfriends, that can't seem to get them IRL, and so they want some degree of romance in their life, and they can get that through the video game. That's how they prey on you. It's not that complicated.
Equal opportunity. The male characters never get to have interactions or relationships like this with the
It would be nice in a perfect world. I understand where she's coming from, 100%. The reality is one must understand the vision behind the product in itself before trying to expect something to this extent from said product.
player. Why not? We also have character-specific tropes. Veresa, I'm getting to you now. She was tailor-made for the feeder fetish. I kid you not, in one of her trailers, they animate food going into her stomach, and her stomach, like, jiggles and stuff, and oh my god. It is genuinely one of the most sickening and uncomfortable things I have seen coming out of this company. Her entire
That is a little
thing
weird.
is eating comically large amounts of food.
I understand that because see, I'm a fat boy inside. I'm not fat. I'm maybe skinny fat, I think it's called, but I'm not fat. I do understand this though, and the reason why I'm still skinny fat and not just completely, at a good body fat percentage is simple. I love food. I'm a fat boy inside. I have been very fat when I was a kid. The reason why is simple. I was more carefree. I didn't care, and I love food. I just love food, man.
She has nothing else that matters to her character, to her personality.
Fucking based.
Or anything about her. It's not like this would necessarily be bad on its own, but guys, she is literally a cow. This character is extremely insulting, and I hate her. And that's not even mentioning how she literally fights by falling on her ass. When you are playing her, she will fall and her ass will be
I'd pull up. I'd square up. I think I speak for a lot of guys when I say I'd square up with her then. Yeah, that seems like a fair fight. She may have superpowers and everything, but that's fine. I'll still pull up because I'm courageous that way. I'd win. You know what? I'm fine with it as long as, it's through her ultimate technique.
Facing the camera for multiple seconds before she gets up. And your eye is naturally drawn there because of her bright pink tail against her black skirt. And then when she gets up, she'll like dust herself off and be like, owie, that hurt. Shut up. Ugh.
Hose mad. Yeah, I think this part should be called, part 3 should be called Hose mad.
And then we've got Nefer and her whole like clones thing. And the clones are like her servants and she poses with them in sexually charged ways. Like she's holding this one's face and this one is laying in her lap. Like, I don't have to like spell out the way that this is incredibly fetishistic, right? I mean, Nefer literally does the stripper crawl across the table toward the camera in her trailer. She's meant to give femdom. And I mean, like the clones basically served no purpose to her theming as a character. I think they could have taken them out of her whole thing and it wouldn't have made a difference to her kit or to her gimmicks. They literally only did it because they knew people would drool over it. Editing Aurelia here. In the process of making this video, Linnea has been released, and I just have to interject to say, what the fuck were they thinking with this character? I feel like a crazy person because
she didn't even bleep that. Goddamn, this is serious. And she apologized for this part. Oh, hold on. We gotta lock in a bit.
I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't think she's adorable and in fact recognizes her for the creepy freak that she is. First of all, she clearly has absolutely no respect for living things that are not traditionally human. She keeps asking to touch and pet the Melusines as if they are not whole people.
I'm starting to understand why she cared about the criticism that has been thrown at her, considering the type of person she is. Now I'm starting to understand who we're talking about, why the issues came, and the things she apologized for didn't make much sense to I feel like a normie like myself. Things are starting to make sense. So Melusines are people. Okay. They're not this cute thing that can still talk and, no, they're people now. We have to show them respect. Okay, sure.
Especially creepy because the Melusines are made to look like children. Having an adult character who is high-key obsessed with them and can't treat them as the people they are was a fucked up move on Hoyo.
They are not children. What are you trying to paint? They're Melusines. They're just creatures. They're not people. What are we talking about?
They literally make a point to emphasize the humanity of the Melusines and how they had to fight to be accepted in Fontanian society. And now we have a playable character who we are supposed to think is cute, harassing them and treating them as though they are pets.
Oh, because girls can get away with stuff like that. Like duh. And just because, okay, Melusines are respected because they used to be discriminated against, but they're still adorable. Like they're not people. They're still just adorable. Like obviously they're not. So, they're somewhere in the middle between cute and respectable. That's it.
Pets. It's disgusting. Her trailer is sickening for the same reason. She fantasizes about being rubbed up on by Siegeween, who, again, looks like a child.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah, I can see why you apologize for this one.
And Kirara, along with other Melusines and Nekomata. It reads as extremely fetishistic to me, which is a problem when the people that she's fantasizing about look like children. She chases these people around and doesn't seem to let up after being told multiple times to back off. There are multiple promotional materials in which she
This will sound a little creepy considering what she's trying to paint here, but I think this is something a lot of people can relate to. You know, when you see babies, when you're walking down the street, you see a baby, like a stroller or something. Or you're in public transportation and then there's a baby. And the baby looks at you and keeps looking at you. Is it just me where you just want to play with the baby? You start making faces, you start to be a little playful. And before you realize it, especially when he starts responding to your playfulness, all you want to do is go over there and just... Is it just me? I feel like that's a very human thing because we love the innocence of that comes with the cuteness, and you know, we value that a lot. We cherish that. We want to protect it. It's very important to us. I think they're just playing on that. Trying to paint it into something else is kind of just you always trying to find an issue with anything that you may not like because, again, maybe, just maybe, Ho's mad.
Asks to touch a Melusine, which makes me think that it's happened more than once or twice. I mean, at least her character quest wasn't as bad. I won't spoil it, obviously, because I said I wouldn't talk about content past Luna 5, but I still don't find this character appealing or compelling at all, as I feel like I've made it very clear. She doesn't even have an interesting design to make up for it. She's literally just a copy-paste of Charlotte. Even the wish art is the...
By the way, when I said it could have been the second coming of Hex Juice, looks like I was spot on. Oh yeah, looks like I was spot on. I mean, Hex wasn't to this degree, but I feel like they're kind of coming from a similar zone. I think I was onto something, ladies and gents.
Same. I haven't felt such a burning hatred for a character in a long time. Hoyoverse had the opportunity to portray Linnea as a character with a disability that made it difficult for her to fit in, because that was largely the reason the myth of changelings arose in the first place. The fairies were thought to swap their fae children for a human child, which was how several mythologies explained neurodivergence in children. Instead of portraying a really heartwarming story about a character who's autism-coded, we instead get a freak who can't stop harassing anyone with non-human features. Ironic, considering how they want to portray her as an outcast who had no friends because she was a fae who looked different. Also, can we talk about how her lore makes no sense because the Saritsa and the...
Also, I feel like this is an anime trope. You know, with anime girls going crazy for cuteness. Now that I think about it, it's always been there. So I guess we just have an issue with that, I guess. But then again, it stems from, even for me as a guy, just yesterday, I lied to you, I saw a baby, and you know, you always have to be on the lookout if the mom is going to notice you before start making faces, because you don't want to look stupid, and you just go... They're cute. They're super adorable. You just want to play with them like a cat.
Fatui are meant to be hunting down fae and eradicating them.
Or a dog.
Hence why Flynn's hides his identity. But it's just completely fine that Linnea is outwardly a fae, perhaps even more obviously so than Flynn's because she doesn't cover the wings on her head or her crystal markings. Whatever. I really hope people open their eyes to how terrible this character is. Sorry if you feel kinship with her. She is not cute. She is not funny. She has no appealing character traits, and there are far better characters out there whose stories are about yearning for acceptance. Anyway, back to the video. Before we move on to the last part, I feel the need to...
Obviously, the selling point is her adorableness, her cheerfulness, and she's cute. Obviously, that's what they're selling for her, not character depth. That's obviously not the selling point there.
Debunk something I've heard, both in this fandom and in other fandoms, with regards to sexualized character designs.
Uh-oh.
She should be able to wear whatever she wants. It's feminist to let women express themselves how they want. Listen, I choose to believe that this argument isn't made in bad faith. It's more like people who say this have good intentions, but they don't understand what it is that they're actually saying. Yes, it's true that women in real life should be able to choose what they wear. If they want to wear revealing clothing, that is completely their choice. However, these women are not real and do not have the autonomy that we do. They are purposefully manufactured to be bait for the male gaze.
Hose mad. Oh my god, the hose mad keeps happening. It keeps hose matting into hose matting into hose matting. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Like, what a self-report. This part of the video should not have been here. You should have just stuck to this. What you hear, this here is just so weird. It's super weird.
They are animated in revealing outfits and drawn in uncomfortable poses and written into compromising situations on purpose. These developers have control over how these
Have you watched anime before? Especially the ones that have like romance to them. They do this a lot. You're in a pizza store, they're gonna do pizza. Again,
women are portrayed, and they choose to portray them increasingly as vessels for hypersexualization, fetishization, and fan service. That is not feminist. That's not to say that Hoyoverse doesn't do this in their other games. Zenless Zone Zero comes to mind, but to me, at least, that game is honest about what it is, and it has been since the beginning.
wait, you thought Genshin was something different? Go watch Dawei's Fish to Investors, girl. What are you doing? What are you doing? Just go do that. You would have saved yourself a lot of embarrassment and a lot of self-reporting. Nah. Because see, here's the thing. She understands. It's just like, you got to understand that for Genshin too. That and Genshin is not an exception to the rule. Because even if I were to go to 1.x, we had a character like Eula. Eula is very, very sexy. We also had Ganyu. Like right off the bat, you can tell. Look at Ganyu's design, bro. What the hell? Look at that. Look at the boobs. Look at the stockings and whatever that is. Like goddamn. Like goddamn, baby, what the hell? Especially when you glide. Like this has been here since day one. Like I don't know why she's trying to just come at Genshin like that. I'm sounding Hoyoshills here, but I'm not. Because, you know, people think I'm a Kurubot and a Hoyoshill. Like, people are just confused. But I'm neither. Like, I'm just fair. The reality is what you're trying to paint is something that doesn't hit the mark, considering even you can recognize that considering where we're at, this is just like, they sell it as such. So, like, it's to be expected. So, like, you can tolerate for Zenless, you can't tolerate for Genshin, even though in 1.x we had characters like Ganyu. Come on. And Jean's literally, when you E, her boobs used to keep jiggling, if you remember. Lisa, there's also Lisa, you can get that character literally for free, and she's probably the one trying to be as sexy as possible. So it's like, what are we talking about here? Like, how could you not recognize it in Genshin too?
And maid outfits and schoolgirl uniforms and all. At least over there, the fan service is a little more equally spread across the male and female characters. Genshin Impact still pretends that it's this grand world of exploration it was 4 years ago, while its writing and characters suffer. Expect visual upgrades like you've never seen before, all while we refuse to visually upgrade older characters because who gives
That's true, they should work on that. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Shit about them, right? Or as we increase the shill for pay-to-win players, or for Millie Astro Wonderland, which no one fucking asked for and no one cares about, and for hyper-specific—
Well, they saw there's a game that's dying, so let us do that for them. So that way, once again, there's a lot of kids in there in that game. I can't remember its name, I forgot, but basically they copied that game to into this game mode. Was it Roblox? I forgot. Yeah, there it is. It was actually Roblox. Yeah, there it is. I remember correctly. Yippee! So basically, they saw that Roblox was dying, and Roblox had a lot of kids. And considering, once again, Genshin is trying to cater to kids, looking at thematics again, they obviously are going to look at Roblox failing. They're going to be like, you know what? Well, we can make Roblox too in our already existing popular IP. So that way, the already existing kids in Genshin Impact can look at the kids that are just playing only Roblox and go, well, we have that in Genshin Impact too. You can have Roblox and Genshin. Wow. It's just business.
Specific gameplay mechanics that are incredibly team limiting and rely on 2 or 3 limited characters to actually function. All while we—
Oh yeah, see, now we're with you. Okay, now you brought it back. Oh, so we're there here. Oh, 100%. That's an issue. 1,000,000%. We're with you there.
Continually offer less and less new map areas and free wishes each patch. I could go on
yes,
forever about
we're with you there again.
Fucking game and how Hoyoverse doesn't— I think that's enough of that for now. Let's move on. After all this complaining, people are probably thinking, it sounds like this game is causing you lots of undue stress. Maybe you should just quit and play something else. Look, maybe you don't get what it feels like to invest 5 years of your life into a game like—
Ooh, that sunk cost fallacy. You got it bad, girl. God damn.
This, with ever-expanding lore and new characters being introduced all the time. I guess maybe I didn't know what I was getting myself into at the time, back in 1.0 when I first started out.
Oh, I know. Me too, girl. Me
So much
too.
of your time into a game only for it to let you down. I'm not gonna pretend that Genshin was perfect back then. There are so many weird, like, cop-outs that Hoyo pulls so that they can have sensitive themes in their games but not actually have them. Like Bennett saying that he has multiple dads, only for you to realize that it's because he's been raised by many older men in the Adventurers Guild, not because he has queer
That was so sad, wasn't it? Oh man, I really felt for my boy Bennett there.
parents. But the problems have only gotten worse with time. There are even more—
Wait, what?
Adventurers Guild, not because he has queer parents. But the problems have only gotten worse with time.
Oh, okay.
There are even more cop-outs, like Flynn's being a victim of suicidal ideation, but like, He actually just went sleepy for a really long time. Or like Nicole, who is mute in name only. She just talks in people's heads using her magic so Hoyo can pretend that they have a character with a disability. Or like Nefer, experiencing racism at the hands of the academia while having the palest skin you could possibly imagine. Regarding gameplay, as I said,
it was the opposite. She apologized for that one later on because Nefer is technically in a place where a darker skin is better, and the paler you are, the worse off you are. It's the opposite of what they have in Asia. And so yeah, and she said that people shouldn't say that about they shouldn't do that, which is something I can understand for sure, because realistically it's the opposite, sure, but and I guess that can work still.
For current characters has only gotten worse with time, with boss enemies made specifically to be defeated by
I don't know why she apologized for that one, because she didn't even expand that much on it.
Certain limited characters. Fontaine was the first region to introduce a region.
Once again, like I said earlier, it's really a matter of the type of person she is and what she buys into. Obviously will make her care about what certain people like that, because they're coming all from the same zone and region. She's obviously gonna care a little too much on what that type of people have to say, and it's super weird. Like their level is so low, and she lowered herself even lower, because I'll be honest, this Ho's Mad one, that made her lose a lot of aura.
Battle mechanics, Bond of Life, and Pneumosia, but it wasn't so completely baked into the combat like Night Soul or Lunar Reactions are. You didn't need Bond of Life or Pneumosia to beat anything in the game, but the Lord of Eroded Primal Fire weekly boss requires a character who can apply Night Soul damage. The Game Before the Gate is built for quick application of the Frozen reaction, which is the specialty of Skirk and his Coiffier. It's unfair to people who aren't looking to pull every single character, like me, because I only pull characters I like, or free-to-play people who aren't looking to spend what could easily be hundreds of dollars on filling out a 5-star roster. Also, like,
with you there,
because I don't have that kind of disposable income. Seeing Flynn's in that God Cry teaser
me too, girl,
was
me too.
a lifesaver.
We broke these, must stick
shit,
together.
A beautiful 5-star man with a mysterious backstory who's actually part of the meta, and oh my god, Lowen too. That face card is diabolical. It's been so long since I've been excited about characters like this. Most of the time now, I'm just like, well, Nicole's not my favorite, but I guess I'll pull for her in the future if I have.
She's so fine. Look at that. God damn, she's so shiny and vibrant.
No other characters I want. Or, well, Lauma's design is pretty terrible, but I like her personality.
God damn it. Can you stop with this Ho's Mad shit? Like, you just get us back and then all of a sudden you throw that shit again. God damn it.
A lot. I guess I could get her if I have enough extra Primo Gems. So yeah, that's a lot of flaws. But guess what, guys? Hoyoverse fucking got me. Almost 6 years ago now, Hoyoverse wormed its way into my brain and put my mind in a Genshin Impact-shaped chokehold. At this point, I have so many mixed emotions about this game and its fan base. I love the beautiful fan art I see every day. I love the sense of humor that so many of these fans have. I love some of these characters so much, and thinking about them is so much fun. But sometimes I feel like the only sane person in any given comment section on the internet. Like, I'm the only person who sees this game for what it has become. People just refuse to be critical of this game despite enjoying it and knowing what it could be. It's a fandom and a community that I sometimes feel like I don't belong to. Like I should have left it a long time ago, and yet I can't stop playing it. Maybe it's an addiction, or maybe it's FOMO thinking about the upcoming characters I want to get in the future. Maybe I find the gameplay.
No, it's called sunk cost fallacy.
Engaging. But ultimately, I think for me, it comes down to wanting to see where this story ends up, even though it continues to disappoint me the more the time goes on. I think Genshin set up a very strong emotional core with the missing sibling, and they strung us along just enough that I was invested, giving us hints of the sibling only a little at a time, all culminating in a quest called Bedtime Story a couple years ago, which is one of the only Genshin quests that's ever made me cry. I want to see the traveler reunited with their twin at the end of this journey. I want to explore Snezhnaya and Khaenri'ah. Even though Alice's design ended up being a little copy-paste, I adore her, and I want to pull her and put her in a team with Klee and Durin. I want to see Dainsleif become playable. And
oh god damn, our ninja Dainsleif. I forgot about him. Yeah, we need that, man.
Hopefully introduce a new element into the gameplay. Who knows? Maybe Genshin will continue to disappoint me. Maybe there are no good villains left to meet, and maybe a playable woman in a freezing cold climate will be
god damn, girl in the hell
wearing a bikini. I'm still gonna be pissed about that, but it's quests like Durin's story quest, a beautiful tale of the devotion of motherhood and learning to make your own way in life, that give me very cautious optimism. I know that Hoyo is capable of amazing storytelling. Yes. That's what makes it so frustrating every time this game lets me down. But Hoyo, you've still got me for a while. Nice going, you made me addicted to your game, but the good stuff is what makes me want to stick around for a while.
Yeah, it's kind of what they do. Yeah, it's how they get you.
Even if it's only to watch my favorite little guys run around in my screen.
Nice. So yeah, there it is, man. There it is. A bit of a emotional roller coaster there, that's for sure. Sometimes we're like, oh yeah, this, oh yeah, cook 'em. And then there's that bias that I feel like doesn't have much room considering the general consensus towards these games and what they're trying to do. So it kind of falls weird and becomes, I don't know. I mean, I'll just be repeating myself a lot, but all in all, I think still, regardless of all this, you can point and, laugh a bit, but I don't think it deserves, once again, the extreme reaction people have had. Ultimately, this is, again, to her or to everybody critiquing her, this is a game that sells to the anime baddies. She should recognize that. They should recognize that. And considering what we're talking about here, obviously it does not warrant any degree of this level of extreme negative behavior towards anyone, really. And we can go hose mad and laugh and all that, but all in all, that's all it's gonna be. But that's all. Like, beyond that, it's just y'all should calm down. Y'all should calm down. But yeah, I think all in all, considering the very see, I think here's her mistake. This is just me, tinfoil hat theory, but I think her mistake was she obviously signaled to people that will have issues with some of the stuff she's saying there. Because I feel like as a normie, besides the hose mad part, I don't necessarily find any of what she said offensive. And hose mad isn't offensive to me. It's just like, girl, what you on about? Why are you hating so much? Stop all this hate. Like, besides that, like, there's nothing much for me to go and say, oh, how dare you, you know what I'm saying? So it's like she kind of shot herself in the foot for being one of those people, adding that to the video, basically dog whistling to them coming, and now you see what happens when you try to have a conversation with extreme people like those. Because those people, as much as they want to seem understanding, inclusive and everything, the reality is a lot of the time they are the bullies. A lot of them are bullies. They just need for a low-hanging fruit to just go at. Yeah, that's it is what it is. It is what it is. Maybe you should think about changing camps. that could be for the better. I'm just suggesting here, just a suggestion. So yeah, that's gonna be me, man. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I think all in all, this has been blown out way out of proportion. There's some good criticism there. There's some fun to be poked at, of course, for her lack of understanding of how things are, etc. Some of the biases being applied, some of the female cards, etc. Really takes me back to the good old Hex Juice days, man. Those were some damn good days, man. Obviously, Hex Juice wasn't as this lost in the sauce, but this Hex is a close second to this one, that's for sure. We miss you, Hex. We do. So yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Once again, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Be seeing you.